Let's go through all of today's Tesla stock news, and we got some good news, and this is a really bullish Tesla stock rumor. Sources indicate that Tesla China will soon begin a new round of price increases. This could possibly be because there's so much more demand in China right now, or it could also possibly indicate that the Model 3 refresh is about to be launched and it will be priced at a higher price. Assuming that this rumor is true, I think it's more likely that it is due to increased demand. We had really good numbers come from China last week. The deliveries were at 16,400, and if every single week that remains in this quarter continues like this, we will have a record quarter in China, which supports this rumor that Tesla is going to increase prices in China. Also, Tesla just increased pricing for the Model Y all-wheel drive version, not the long range, but just the regular all-wheel drive version by $250, so not a big increase, but still it is an increase. The other two versions still remain at the same price as previously, but often then Tesla raises prices, we see one country increase the price first and then a few other countries follow these increases. Earlier I said that Tesla is likely to do another price increase for Model Y, and if you want to check the history of Tesla pricing, you may pause the video right now. I like this chart because it also shows you the price after the tax credit as well as before the tax credit. This is pretty interesting. France wants Elon Musk to build a Tesla factory in the country even as it threatens to ban Twitter. And there is something going on here. The French President Macron said he will meet with Elon Musk on Friday. This is the second time in just over a month. And he's trying to get Elon to build a gigafactory there. Macron says, I'm going into that meeting with an agenda. If I am not mistaken, Alexandra lived in France before, and she really does not like the idea of building in France. But I think this is actually a good idea because we know that Tesla is perhaps seriously considering investing in Spain, and if you negotiate with a few countries at the same time, you will just simply get a better deal. So even if we don't want to build in France and we just want to build in Spain, we talk to other countries to get a better deal from Spain. And the president seems to have been pretty serious lately. This is from May 12th. The president announced that French and Asian groups will invest about $7 billion in plans to produce electric car batteries and related materials in northern France, saying the moves vindicate his policies to boost the country's attractiveness. He wants to be competitive with China and the US. Also, Elon Musk is expected to speak in Paris on Friday at the Viva Tech Summit, one of France's flagship technology conferences where the government will have a large presence. This Asabatra has been spotted driving around in the Palo Alto area, and it had this camouflage. I guess Tesla didn't want anyone to see the Asabatra, but yeah, we all saw it. We also got this video footage of Asabatra going through the drive-thru, and notice how everyone is just staring at it, taking pictures, filming it, or whatever it is that they are doing. This will be the best advertisement for Tesla. And it appears that perhaps it will have different wraps. Cathie Wood sold about $100 million worth of Tesla stock recently, and oftentimes she sells Tesla stock in batches. She sells a little bit one day and then more the next day and then more the next day. But she didn't sell anymore. We didn't get another notification. I was somewhat expecting it, but it did not happen yesterday again, although we don't know about today yet. We'll see later today. Tesla stock is still at almost 12% in ARKK fund. And in the main fund, Cathie Wood can actually keep buying until the stock reaches 25%. Specifically, 25% of a sector is allowed to be owned in this fund. And interestingly, there are no limitations for these two other funds. She just can't keep buying after she reaches 10%. But she doesn't have to sell. The first domestic deliveries of Model S and X now begin in South Korea. This is a pretty interesting story. Business Insider drove the new Toyota EV from New York to Washington, D.C. and back, and it took them 9 hours, 3 of which they were charging. If they drove a Tesla, they would have had to charge for maybe 30 minutes in total. The Toyota was limited to these super slow charging speeds. And Elon Musk is encouraging Toyota to make a deal with Tesla and use the Tesla charging standard from now on. We got another good inflation reading. This time it is the producer price index. It keeps coming down and the trend looks good. The Fed today paused rate hikes, but they said 2 more are coming later this year. Everything dropped for a moment, but then things sort of recovered. Gary Black says that the investors clearly don't believe that Fed will increase interest rates 2 more times this year. While the dot plot was hawkish, the economic forecast was hawkish, and the FOMC statement was hawkish, the chair Powell refused to confirm that rates would resume their upward path in July, instead allowing that the Fed would be data dependent. Gary Black says that he continues to believe that the Fed is done raising rates this year, which would be really bullish for Tesla stock likely. BYD executive vice president says that due to the Inflation Reduction Act, the US market is not currently under consideration. Tesla will have the US market all to itself for quite some period of time. More than 10 FSD Beta enabled cars are now in Australia across multiple regions, which makes it more likely that Tesla will release full self-driving beta to all of Australian customers as well. I saw this video going around on Twitter today, and you can see that the Tesla charger is stuck in there. Now that does not happen. That is extremely unlikely to actually happen to anyone, because when our car is charging, you can't even put the car in drive. It's either a prank or the car seriously malfunctioned. This is a huge milestone from S&P Global. We learned that the first ever major US metro area hits 50% electrified vehicle registrations in March, although they do include hybrids in that 50% number. This is specifically in San Francisco, and if we only look at battery electric vehicles and not hybrids, we got 34%, which is still pretty high. Expect many other cities in the US to follow suit. James says this chart explains why he is so against Elon talking about politics, and that is because a lot of Tesla buyers are on the left, politically speaking. One important thing to remember though is that one reason why we have so many buyers of Teslas that are on the left is because simply these states that are more liberal, they have usually bigger incentives for buying electric vehicles. For example, if you include federal and state incentives in California, you can get a Model 3 for as little as $25,000. Tesla lately certainly, I think, benefited from the AI rally because more people are starting to see Tesla as an AI company. But this tweet here says that the AI industry is now way overhyped. Why? Well, there's a French AI company that was just valued at $250 million. The company was created 4 weeks ago. They don't have a product. Employees have barely started working, but they already raised over $100 million. This does remind me a little bit of crypto and where it was just a little while ago. It will be interesting to see what happens next, but I still think that Tesla is way undervalued. If you own AGM Bolt, I got some perhaps bad news for you. GM stops replacing 2020-2022 Bolt recall batteries, but offers diagnostic software instead. The software will try to find if your vehicle has an issue, and if it does, then you will get a battery replacement. But you will need to drive for about 6,000 miles to be sure that your vehicle does not have a problem. And most importantly, hopefully during this time, your house won't burn down if you park your Bolt in the garage. If you can, I would highly suggest to park outside. Elon Musk replied with a yup to this tweet. Here's another continuously recycled argument, but all the electricity comes from coal. No, it doesn't. In the EU, for example, most electricity comes from nuclear, hydro, wind, and solar. And the trend is difficult to argue with. Carbon footprint of your EV declines every year. Tesla enhanced the service session of the Tesla app. It added tabs and new animation. Elon today is also predicting that deflation is coming. And inflation, high inflation can be pretty scary, but deflation, can be even scarier. Ideally, if we can just stay at about 2% inflation, that would be perfect. And here's another reason to own a Tesla vehicle. This is crazy. Look how well this Tesla vehicle handles around this corner. Not only are you more likely to be fine in a crash, the vehicle actually handles itself really well. Tesla stock is finally giving us a small discount, although it's pretty small, 0.74%, but in the last month it is up 54.37%. So if you have been holding Tesla stock this whole time, congratulations to you. This was the longest winning streak that Tesla stock has ever had. There will be more to come in the future. And in this video, I talk about why Tesla board members are not buying more Tesla stock. My name is Matt. Please just like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.